Hello everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be invited once again to speak at your Carers Connect event. These last 18 months or so have been extremely difficult for all of us as we tried to cope with the pandemic. But for you carers, it was even more so, as this has been another very tough year as you look after your loved ones every day. Prior to the first lockdown in March 2020, there were 729,000 registered carers in Scotland. There are now over 1.1 million who have registered. This means that even more unpaid carers are now being identified and being offered much needed support. But this brings its own challenges. How do services now cope with this huge increase in demand? We know during lockdown, when there were restrictions in place for a large part of 2021, services closed or operated with reduced capacities. Care packages were difficult to reinstate for existing carers or to implement for new carers, all resulting in many carers having to continue to try and cope on their own, resulting in many carers reaching crisis point or even breakdown. In my previous speeches to Carers Connect, I have continued to shout out my message. You can't do it alone. And it's so important that you ask for help. You can't do it alone. There is help out there. This year's Carers Connect is the first time PCAVs have gone into local communities and will be delivered simultaneously in 3 different venues, both face-to-face and virtually. So hopefully, more carers can take part and see what support is available to them. There are signs of some green shoots of recovery, and being able to have this event face-to-face is evidence of that. PCAVs want to hear from carers how best they can support them into 2022 and beyond. PCAVs will be running a consultation soon to try and establish what is the most appropriate support going forward and how best they should be delivered. We are about to enter the 3rd and final year of the PK Carers Strategy 2019-2022. And so consulting with carers is now more important than ever. We need to know and we need to hear firsthand from you how best we can support you during the lifetime of the next Carers Strategy. We know many carers make mention of consultation fatigue, but your voice will help shape this strategy. And so now, hearing from you is more important than ever. Recently, I watched an interesting programme on STV, and some of you may have watched it. It's called Where's My Head At? And I would recommend you go on to catch up on your TV and watch it, as it features young carers from PCAVs and from all over Scotland who discuss together how the pandemic has impacted their lives and their mental health. And hopefully the stalls at each event and the infomercials will be useful to guide carers to see what support is out there, but carers can contact PCAVs at any time to seek emotional or practical support from them. And in closing, I would like to say a really big thank you to all of you carers, young and old, because without you, God only knows what state this country would be in just now. But remember, you don't have to do it alone. Thank you and take care.
as a respite development officer, my role is to provide opportunities for carers which enable them to have a break from their caring role. And it means that having a break or having to step away from that role provides you with an ability to sustain your caring role in the future and helps you to de-stress and relax. And yeah, it takes away all the worries that you're thinking about in terms of what future holds for you and the person that you look after, home environment situations, families, relationships, finances. You can have an opportunity to have some time off and just think about yourself, just really yourself. If there's a carer who's wishing to access Time for Me, they simply have to get in touch with me, where I would be able to give them some tips and advice through the application process. Also, just to help them with any application forms or any signposting, if applicable. And for more information about Time for Me, you can visit our website as well.
Hi there, my name's Mary and I'm half of the telephone service. We've been running for 2.5 years and we provide a listening ear to carers by giving them a wee call, be it once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, just a wee chat just to see how they're doing in their caring role. No two carers are the same and we give different advice, information, support. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes we cry. We really get to know the carers. A lot of carers maybe think initially when we first engage, what good is a phone call? Well, as we get going, that phone call becomes really important. We really get to know, and because we're listening, we could hear sometimes at first point if there's a crisis or something's building. We've got extra support that I could go and get.
Well, I care for my husband because he has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and he's nearly 85. He's unable to do quite a lot of things for himself. Well, it's excellent because there's a lady called Mary who rings me every 2 or 3 weeks. We have a chat and she asks how I am, and obviously she asks about Colin as well, and she's just very nice, you know, she's just interested in what I am doing. It breaks up the day, and it's just nice to speak to somebody that's outside the house, and she's very helpful, and it's just lovely to have somebody else to speak to.
People could be referred into the service via support workers in the council, our own support workers, via GPs. A referral comes into us and we'll give a wee introductory phone call. A lot of carers don't see themselves as an unpaid carer, so we'll explain a lot about the service. A lot of information is given right at the start, so with a phone call we could drip feed a lot of information as we go on. But it's a lovely job. We we'd certainly engage, and yeah, happy to help.
Young carers are young people aged 5 to 15 years old who will have a caring responsibility for a family member or someone else within their network. Being a young carer can impact on you in a lot of different ways. Your confidence and self-esteem can sometimes be affected because you're not able to go out with friends so often. Your friendships fall by the wayside. You can become quite isolated. Quite a lot of young carers struggle in school. It might be to attend school because of the caring role, or it could be just in their attainment, so the time that they have to do homework, that kind of thing gets affected.
You have to grow up fast when you're a young carer, because if you don't know what's going on, then you kind of can't help. I was 4 when I became a young carer, so I had to learn how to push my mum in a wheelchair, change tubes, know where crutches were, know where medicine was, and that was quite difficult.
Sometimes their mental health can be affected, increased anxiety and stress as a result of having to leave the person they care for at home. So it can be physical, mental, emotional, friendship, all these things can be affected as a result of being a young carer.
Well, one day, I think it was a Thursday, I just was like really down, really low, nearly at the end of the term, just so tired from everything.
The Young Carer Service is here to offer support, and we start very much with the individual young carer themselves. Work out with them what their needs are, how their caring impacts on them, and what we aim to do is help them with their caring role, but also to give them some respite, some time out from their caring responsibilities if they need it. So we start off with some support and assessment, and then we have things like respite groups, which are weekly activity groups that people can become involved in after school. We do trips in residentials. We are able to provide additional support sometimes for mental well-being and things through counselling, and we also have our education attainment service, which supports young people with their engagement with school and education as well. So, depending on the individual needs of the young carer, we put together a menu of choices that fits their needs and will help them manage their responsibilities.
My first key worker when I came here was Chris, and to this day, he left like 2 years ago. He has still made a huge good effect on my life, and just helped me so much through such a difficult time in my life.
The Young Carer Service is open to anybody that thinks they might be a young carer or may think that they know a young carer. You can phone us on the PCAL's main number. You can self-refer. If you're working with another service, they can also refer you for our support.
Can I say one more thing? I think without young carers we would all feel so alone.
Hello everyone. On behalf of the members of Carers Voice, welcome. Carers Voice is a forum for unpaid carers to come together, and I'm delighted to introduce Maureen Summers, who is our chairperson. In the next few slides, I'm going to tell you a little about what we do and the people who work with us. So who are we? As you can see from the slide, our members are all either unpaid carers or experienced former unpaid carers. We believe that this group of people gives us a huge range of experience in supporting current carers with the issues that they come across on a day-to-day basis. Our representatives attend various health and social care meetings, contributing to discussions in planning improvements to existing services or creating new support services. Because our members all have experience of being a carer themselves, they bring with them the knowledge that can only add value to our group and to the carers we support. We meet and consult with carers on a regular basis. Our carers strategy was launched in November 2019, and representatives from Carers Voice contributed to the creation of this strategy. You can download a copy using the link provided or by contacting PCAVS or Perth and Kinross Council. In this slide, Mel Gibson, another one of our carer representatives, and I were attending a communication event. Mel is one of our representatives on the Carers Strategy Group and works tirelessly in the background as well as delivering presentations like this to various groups. I do hope that this has given you a little insight into Carers Voice. We have included our contact details, so please do get in touch, and remember, together we can make a difference.
We support young adult carers between the ages of 16 and 25. We have 157 young adult carers that we're supporting just now, but we have around 47 young carers waiting to transition up to the service, so it's a very growing service. The biggest part of our support probably is one-to-ones. So the support worker will go out and work with the young adult carer. It can be around things like supporting them with employment. It can be about supporting them with the transition from school to college. It can be supporting them with their anxiety or things going on in the house involving their caring roles. So yeah, lots of different facets, and every young adult carer comes with different things that we need to support, so it's very person-centred. We usually run consultation events once or twice a year. We gather their thoughts, what they would like to do and what they see as respite, and then we try and make that happen. So some of the things that we've been doing this year involve going to the escape rooms in Edinburgh. So we had a murder mystery event recently. We do things like kayaking, canoeing, water sports. We take young carers out for walks. So there's different grants available to carers. So we've got the Carers Trust who offer grants to young carers. They can apply through there. They can apply for anything that they would find as a form of respite, like bikes or computers, laptops, clubs, things like that. There's also the Young Carers Grant, which is open to young carers between the ages of 16 to 19. That's £305 and they can apply for that every year. And there's different pots of money that we become aware of throughout the year that we often share with our young adult carers through Facebook or Messenger, and they can come in and we can support them to fill out forms. So a big part of what we do with our young adult carers is signposting. The support that we offer can be limited, and there's other agencies that maybe can deliver the kind of support that they're needing. So currently we do a lot of work with the YMCA. We work really closely with Perth College, so it's supporting young adult carers to transition up to Perth College. That's been going really well. If you're aged between 16 and 25 and you think that you've got a caring role, either emotional or practical, you can give us a wee call at our centre, ask for one of the young adult carers team, and we can have a wee chat.
My role it's a little bit different from some of the other roles in the Adult Carers Hub. I'm the hospital link worker, and that means that I'm primarily based with the hospital discharge team. So really, while the social work team are looking after the patient and they might be putting in packages of care for that patient, I'm there to support that patient's carer while the patient's going through that hospital journey. So the idea behind that is really to make sure that the carer feels supported, and it also kind of hopefully prevents maybe some readmissions because we're preventing a carer crisis and carer breakdown. what a lot of people are probably looking for is just someone to talk about that caring role, talk about their anxieties, their worries. You know, a lot of people worry that they're not going to manage with the person when they come home. They worry that the person might end up going into long-term care. So there's a whole host of different things. A lot of carers, obviously, a lot of them are elderly, you know, they're older people, so they might have health issues of their own. So it's really, a lot of it can just be talking to them. That emotional support, it's a big factor. So they can access my support in a number of ways. Some of the main ways will be obviously through my team, through the hospital discharge team, the social work guys. They will refer the carer on for the clients that they are working with. I can also take referrals from the medical staff directly, so that might be nursing staff in the wards. It could be occupational therapists, the OTs, it could be the physiotherapists, anyone really in the medical setting, they can refer to me directly as well.
My role is the Carer Community Development Worker. This is a new role that we created after listening to the needs of the carers about peer support, connections in their local communities and stuff like this. So prior to the lockdown, we had face-to-face groups that were running throughout Perth and Kinross. They were social groups. We also had a bereavement group, which was for carers who their loved one had either passed away or had went into full-time care. All our groups are online at the moment, and what we do there is we have quizzes. We try to make it fun. We have a coffee morning. We have other things arranged like baking sessions and stuff like that. So it's basically asking carers what they would like and then try to organise that. We hope to achieve like carers making local connections in their areas. It's about peer support, tackling social isolation, loneliness, depression. It's about creating a platform for carers to, be amongst others that have got something similar that's going on to them. It's about making them feel valued for what they do as well. And it's about just listening to carers to see what they want and try to develop what they want.
So the adult carer support team consists of 4 adult care support workers. We've got a hospital link worker. We also have our community carer development worker, our hospitality officer, SDS officer, and also the telephone support line. So when a referral comes in, we've got a new system where we send out a welcome pack. Within 7 to 10 days, the carer will then get a call from one of the support workers to do what we call a welcome call. Through that call, they'll find out any outcomes, what we call outcomes or goals that the carer may have, which could involve anything from therapies to respite to social groups to being referred on to other agencies, emergency planning, future planning, things like that. So they'll all be identified. The workers will then decide where that's going to go. So within our team, it may go to Ermin for Time for Me or hospitality. It may go to Kathleen for support groups or social therapies. SDS may be involved, which is Billy. There may be just wanting a wee bit of emotional support, so it would be the telephone support line. Or if a carer cared for is in hospital, it could be Marie, who's doing the hospital link worker support plan. So we all work together, we're all joined together, even though it's quite different roles. Carers can come to us in a variety of ways. A carer can self-refer through our website or can phone in and we can do a telephone referral. They can be referred in by various other agencies such as the council, NHS, other third sector agencies.
The day services support people, vulnerable adults mostly, various age groups and various different reasons why they come to us. We support them by taking them in and giving them so many hours respite to allow carers as well to have that bit of time to themselves. Within the day services we do various things, and that can start from just daily activities, exercises. We do outings when the weather's good. We also do holidays where we take carers and cared for 3 nights, 4 days, and we go up north of Scotland and we do lots of different things. We do theme days for Christmas and celebrations, Burns Day and things like that. I think what they get coming out of here, I mean, and a lot of them will quite openly say it's the social, just socially interaction with other people. basically getting out of their own house, because a lot of people we have stay on their own. Although they do have carers, they don't stay with them. So just to see other faces, they end up making friendship with other people, and they class us as their second families. So within the day services, we take the cared for into the day club, and this allows the carers to have respite to themselves, because they've got a great role that they take part in, and obviously without them coming to us, the carers get no respite. So this just allows them time to themselves. We do a lot of things where the carers are invited along as well. Like our holidays, they're more than welcome to join us and come along to that. We do coffee mornings and open days, and that's for the carers as well. If people were interested in coming along to the day services, what we would ask them to do initially is to contact one of the team, or they could go onto our website where we have referral forms that they would complete and return to us.